Today, the latest show in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Agatha All Along, drops on Disney+. So let's talk about it. Hi, my name is Sean, and I love to talk about movies and TV way too much. With that in mind, go ahead and join me down below in the comments section. What was your excitement level for Agatha All Along, and what did you think about the premiere? So, with this show, I was actually able to see the first 2 episodes on the big screen at an event that I hosted, which was a lot of fun and very cool to be one of the few people that actually gets to see this on the big screen. Seeing anything in that immersive of an environment is just a better experience than getting to watch it at home. I was able to bring my daughter with me, as well as my friend Cody Leach. They will share kind of their out of the theater reactions to it at the end of this video. And then I was able to watch episodes 3 and 4 at home that they sent out to critics to review the first 4 episodes before they came out. So in this review, I will be talking about the first 4 episodes, not just the first 2, though the first 2 I got to see on the big screen. With that said, let's get started with the review. So I went into Agatha All Along with a bit of skepticism for a couple of reasons. The first one being that this feels like a project that was greenlit during an era where they were just greenlighting too many projects, and they sort of realized and acknowledged that publicly last year that they want to focus more on quality rather than quantity, and this feels like one of those projects from the quantity era. And it also feels like a project that's just a little bit too late, where had this come out the year after WandaVision, it would feel like this logical follow-up. But when it comes out so many years later, it feels like, wait, what are we doing? A spin-off to WandaVision 3.5 years later? That's kind of weird. Second reason I was going into it with a lot of kind of skepticism is just simply watching the trailers for it. It didn't look like a show that I would watch if it wasn't part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Just on the topics, the nature of the humor, all of it is just not a show that I would normally watch, but I watch everything that's Marvel Studios releases that's part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And there are plenty of times where I've gone into something skeptical and it won me over. Just this week, Transformers 1 was one that I saw the first trailer and I thought it looked bad, and I really enjoyed that movie. So, was Agatha All Along able to win me over? And unfortunately, the answer is no. Before I start diving into a number of things that just why it didn't really work for me, it doesn't click with me. There's absolutely some laughs in here. There's some performances that are really good. There's some creepy creature designs. I went, ooh, that was kind of spooky. That kind of worked. There's things in here that do have entertainment value, that did work as elements. Some of you will love this show because it's what you've been waiting for. It's not what I've been waiting for. Like, it's slickly produced, but it's not something that I would normally watch, and there just wasn't really anything in the first 4 episodes that hooked me. There wasn't anything that made me go, man, I can't wait to see what's next. It didn't do nearly as good of building the intrigue as WandaVision built. And subject matter-wise, it's just not as entertaining to me on a preference taste level. Essentially, all of my reservations felt kind of confirmed to me, at least, after watching the first 4 episodes, where there's things that happen very early on that kind of set the stage for this story, and their follow-ups to very overtly both WandaVision as well as Doctor Strange 2. And when you're watching it so far detached from those events, it just kind of felt like a very strange follow-up where it would have played much better in the fall of 2022 as this logical conclusion to this plot line that we're running in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, rather than feeling like this long-delayed project, or not long-delayed, but project that feels so far removed from the previous moments in this story arc. But really beyond that, it was a show that, while I'm sure it will have its audience, some of you will really enjoy it, it's just not what I go to the Marvel Cinematic Universe for. Where the Marvel Cinematic Universe, for the first 3 phases, the reason that it was so broadly accessible and became so popular is that you felt like each new entry, if you liked the previous one, you'll probably like this one too. They have differences, and there's one's a heist movie and some are space opera, some are a little bit more grounded, but they're also essentially all in the same ballpark of PG-13 blockbusters with action, with comedy, and sci-fi elements to them. If you like one, there's a fair chance that you'll like another one. And with this show, it's so tonally different. It's such a genre shift. And then even beyond that, it has so little connective tissue to the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe that it really does just kind of feel like its own little witch show over here. And a lot of people that you signed up for Iron Man, Avengers movies, Captain America, Guardians of the Galaxy, this just isn't going to be your thing. It's a very different thing. Now, the flip side to that, some of you that are just kind of bored with getting a little bit too much of the same in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and you kind of like hocus pocus and campy, spooky fun, this might be the thing that you've been waiting for a long time. But that's not me. That sort of kind of campy, spooky stuff isn't something that I naturally gravitate towards. Today's video is brought to you by Factor. We are deep into the summer. I'm in the middle of Texas where it is hot. As soon as I finish shooting this video, I have to go mow my lawn. I'm not looking forward to it. But you can fuel up for those warm days with Factor's no prep, no mess meals. Meet your wellness goals this summer thanks to the menu of chef-crafted meals with options like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. I always go Keto or Protein Plus because I'm a high protein, low carbs kind of guy. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are dietitian approved and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. So no matter how busy you are, you'll always have time to enjoy nutritious, great tasting meals. No shopping, prepping, cooking, or cleanup. With school back in session, life falling more into a routine, it's a great time to use Factor to help meet your health goals. With 35 different meals and more than 60 add-ons to choose from every week, you'll always have new flavors to explore. Make your day delicious from breakfast to dessert. Stay fueled with easy, nutritious options. I like to kickstart my days with their protein shakes. Head to factormeals.com/SeanChandler50 and use code SeanChandler50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month. That's code SeanChandler50 at factormeals.com/SeanChandler50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active. Just on a basic what they were trying to offer at its best was already a bit of a hurdle to get me to enjoy it, just on a matter of taste. We all have different tastes. But when it comes to the actual execution, it's a very bumpy start to this show, where episode number 1 basically seems like the prologue to the show. Episode 1 is very much a bridge between WandaVision and this, where it borrows some of the thematic elements of WandaVision and playing off of classic TV show tropes. It does that in a new, fresh way. It's not a sitcom, but it's that same sort of idea. And so it kicks off with that. So it has one very distinct tone. It has one very distinct selling point, this kind of playing off TV shows. And it's that following up WandaVision and a little bit of Doctor Strange 2 very overtly. But it tonally, it's radically different from the next 3 episodes. It's a very different thing because it is doing this TV show parody sort of thing. And it doesn't work the way that WandaVision worked, where when you parody a sitcom, you can still have the laughs of the sitcom, but it's parodying like a drama. And so it just plays a little bit flatter. There's a bunch of like exposition and story being set up in something that we know is not real, that we know is not actually the mystery that we're trying to unpack. And so it's a very peculiar and slow kickoff to the show, minus the entertainment value that WandaVision was able to do with its first several episodes before you really understood what was happening. And the teases, the mystery elements of what's kind of going on here, I don't think work nearly as well, because if you've seen WandaVision, you kind of know what's going on with Agatha, and you kind of know probably a flavor of what's going on, and so it doesn't work the way that WandaVision did in a lot of ways. And then once it the second episode is really kicking off the story for this one a little bit and what our mission is with the characters. And so it has a specific vibe to it. And then, but it's like the first act, and then episodes 3 and 4 are on our journey that we're on, and they start to have even a bit more, once again, a different tone, a different vibe to them of what the show is. So you have 3 very distinct vibes in 4 episodes. So it's like trying to find its footing. And as soon as we get to the episodes that we think this is what it's like, and the premiere is only the first 2 episodes, so you won't even see kind of the ones that probably tease better the nature of the show. So it's just taking its time to find its footing and shifting tones, styles, vibes very frequently. And that's frustrating. So just on kind of like how smooth does it flow, it's very rocky. It's very bumpy when it gets going. And ultimately why I think I never really connected with it is because I just didn't care about any of these characters. And the plot, once it kicks in, is tied to each of these characters have a reason for going on this dangerous quest. But if you don't really care about the characters, you don't care about the quest either. And so then you're left with, do I like this vibe, this style, this genre? And I didn't. Like Agatha was a lot of fun in WandaVision because she was a side character that was always kind of like, Kathryn Hahn's getting to have all these wild moments and wacky moments. But, she was provoking other things, and she was the spice. I love to spice my food with a sprinkle. I don't need a spoonful of spice. And so a show that's about a mischievous witch on a quest for what she wants, you're inherently following a villain. And so there's a lot of work that needs to be done there to make me care about her and want to follow an adventure with her. And you don't. Like, you're 4 episodes in and you're still like, well, she's just a bad person that's trying to take advantage of everyone. And they're trying to give that humanity to her and why you should care about it. Like, it's in there. And I'm sure by the end of it, we'll get it. Like, it teases just enough stuff about her history, her past, her regrets, that there's a little mystery there. But at the beginning of it, she's Agatha, and you're following her as she's trying to trick and manipulate people. And we have a number of other characters in here, and I just don't think they get their introduced as their moment where they're recruited into our coven. And so you kind of know like one thing about their backstory and then their personality and why they don't get along with Agatha, something like that. And then we run with that. But it's so straightforward that it's just not, several of them just aren't very interesting to me. And there's nothing there that's hooked me on a personality level or anything like that. And so we're on a quest about each of them trying to obtain on this quest, that's tied to who they are. But because I don't care all that much about them, not even really Agatha all that much, there's not a hook to keep watching to see any of this resolved, see where it's going. And that's kind of ultimately where the show doesn't work all that well for me. Like I said, some of the performances here are fun. Kathryn Hahn, of course, is hamming it up and giving this lively performances. So there's plenty of fun to be had watching her do her thing. Aubrey Plaza, also another person that's just fun to see on screen as another mischievous witch with this, mystery about what's kind of going on with her. Why are they working against each other? What's kind of happening there? There's a number of sequences when they do the creepy, spooky stuff, which isn't actually all that much. Like, it's a lot of standing in a room banter comedy, and then like a few minutes of spooky stuff at the end. But there are some creepy designs in there with the way that they go for it. And there's a musical number in almost every episode. So it's a little bit of a musical to it, and they're decent enough. Like, it's not my thing or anything, but it's like, okay, that's not entirely cringe-inducing or anything like that. And they're pretty fun little songs. The way that WandaVision had the jingles, this kind of has the witches songs in it. It's kind of nice. But like I said, it's just not something that I would normally watch. And there wasn't anything that really hooked me.
It was just meh. I mean, it's not like something I'd be like, let's go watch Agatha. But like, I wouldn't be like, ugh.
Kathryn Hahn's great, as you would expect. I thought Aubrey Plaza's character seemed like she's probably going to be fun as the story develops, but it just did nothing in the 2 episodes to entice me to keep watching. Like, if I wasn't in the theater and they started episode 2, I would have moved on to something else at home. It does what most streaming service stuff does, where there's like just enough spark thrown in there by the end of the episode to like regain your interest really quick. Not enough even like the spooky witchy vibes yet in the first 2 episodes. It's very like just kind of sprinkled in there. The rest of it's just kind of MCU style funny dialogue scenes, and the theater had a lot of laughs. I didn't laugh once just because I feel like the MCU humor, it's almost predictable for me at this point, so not for me.
Yeah, that's with my daughter, none of the 3 of us were really hooked by it, so it's not awful, it's not dreadful, it just doesn't have anything that's that enticing to make you just rush to go back and watch it.
It's another Disney Plus Marvel show.
Looking at a number of the first reactions to it on the internet, a lot of people are having a lot of fun with it. A lot of people are kind of like me, like nothing really hooked me in the first set of episodes. And a lot of people are saying, I really didn't like the first 2 episodes, but episode 4 in particular hooked me. And by then I think it found its footing. So this is one of those shows that I think opinions on it are going to be all over the place. And it's one that you probably need to give it the first 3 or 4 episodes to figure out if it's one that you would like, if it's for you. For me, it never really hooked me. There's a little intrigue, there's a little entertainment value, there's some fun performances, some little moments, but overall it's just a little bit too scattershot in its tone and vibe, and I just don't care about these characters enough to care about the journey that they're on. So for me, it's didn't work. Let me know what you thought down below in the comment section. Did you watch it? What did you think about it? And are you going to keep watching? Thank you so much for watching, and keep talking movies and TV too much.